Hey everyone, welcome to the Brady Breakdown Survivor Edition. We'll be talking about Survivor Season 50, Episode 4, A Knife to the Heart. And we recently watched this, and boy, was it a knife to the heart for us. If you've been watching and listening to our podcast, there's been a certain cast member that we have an affinity towards, and he had a rough episode this time, so it hurt us.
Up until the very end, it was great, but...
Yeah, we'll get into it. So we want to talk about that big moment, the shocking vote, and what we think some key misplays going on here in this tribe, one of these tribes. But also, it's been dubbed the biggest reward moment in Survivor history. We'll talk about that. What is that? Who is that? What is that? What's going on there? We'll get into that. And this is our Survivor Season 50, Episode 4 recap. My name is Justin. And as always, I have my co-host, my fellow survivor with me, Rachelle. How are you doing today?
Oh, so good. I absolutely loved and hated this episode.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, it brought us up and brought us down.
Yeah.
And we still love it. So, but yeah, welcome everyone. We want to thank everyone for being here, watching this podcast episode with us. But we'll start off at the beginning, the end of the last tribal vote. And how that went down, because they always do the vote, go back to the camp, and then they show us kind of the night vision goggles and everything.
That's right.
What was your take on that? What was everybody's mood like with the blind side of Q, the last episode? What was your take on that with this tribe here, Vatu?
Well, the only two that were not in the loop were Q and Stephanie, right? So, I felt like we knew more what was going to happen this time. It was clear where the vote was going to go. Yeah. And, Stephanie, she's hanging in there. She had the last of her alliance get voted out, and that is rough for her and will influence how she votes in the future, specifically tonight.
Yeah.
And so, it was everyone thought Q was the right way to go. I think it was a big mistake.
Yeah, still do. Me too.
The challenge is when this early in the game, you do need strong players. The challenges, as we saw in this episode, are very physical, and you need strength, brute strength.
Yeah.
And everybody is already malnourished, right? They're not getting enough calories. So everybody is tired. Their bodies are hungry, and yet they have to compete with physical strength. And when you vote out all of your physical players, you are going to lose. And so they were all pretty happy and aligned with their choice of Q, but it proved fatal in this next episode. I think what is troubling is that Ozzy has almost relinquished himself to going to tribal council every night, and that, or every time, and that is, he's got to try and turn that around, and voting out physically strong players is not the way to go. They really should be focusing on more of the strategic players who are not strong and get those guys voted out, rather than the physically strong, because they will keep going to tribal council if they keep losing the challenges, and they're very physical right now, and so it was a bad move.
Yeah. And Joe said it best a couple episodes ago. If we keep our strong people and win challenges, we don't go to tribal, we don't go home.
That's right.
And they're not following that mantra. But yeah, Stephanie, she's wondering if she's next. She wasn't in on this one, so she's, like you said, she's going to do whatever she can to survive.
Yep.
Ozzy's wanting to break up this David and Goliath trio of Angelina, Mike, and Christian. And ultimately, he wants to be Mike's number one, so he's strategizing. But that's Vatu. They're a little down, depressed, just come back from tribal.
What's interesting is that Ozzy is so focused on tearing down the David and Goliath alliance, but really Christian is not so aligned with Angelina and Mike White. He should be concerned about a little other alliance going on between Christian and Emily.
Yeah, because they're talking
a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've been talking. So, but yeah, with Sela the next day, they're doing a talent show.
Oh, I love this.
Trying to lighten the mood, have some fun. They're living the high life. They're not losing any challenges. They got food. So what'd you think of this talent show?
This is my favorite. I think anything you can do to distract yourselves, have a bit of fun with just the clothes on your back, I think is a great idea. And a talent show wins the day. I mean, I just think it's so fun to have them need to be creative and come up with some acts that they can perform and just have a little bit of fun. I love that they divided by gender.
Yeah.
They made the men come up with the acts, and then the women got to be the judges. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think teams do need to do a bit more of this kind of thing, because most of the time when you see the scenes filmed at camp, they are talking
strategy.
They're talking strategy, or they're complaining about somebody, or they're accusing somebody of something, or it's very negative. It's a very negative discussion or chatter that you hear. And so this is something where they can have fun all together and just really not think about the hard that is Survivor, So I thought it was a great thing. It would be great to see more of this kind, like come up with other things. Maybe they can play charades or, just anything where they're doing it as a group together and just not being so negative.
Yeah. They did do the fashion show. I think it was either episode 1 or 2.
Yeah, I love it.
One of the other tribes did.
Yeah.
So stuff like that's great.
Yeah.
Great to see.
Yep.
But they balance. So Rizzo wins the Mickey Mouse voice.
He did a great impersonation. I mean, it's no secret I'm not a big fan of Rizzo, but he did a great job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it surprised everyone, and it was really funny.
Yeah. So they balanced that moment out with Charlie and Rizzo's beef on Charlie's side mostly, right? He's out for blood for Rizzo, and Rizzo doesn't even know it. He's just oblivious to that.
So let's talk about this a little bit.
Yeah.
So last season, Rizzo had an alliance with Stephanie and Savannah.
With Savannah and Sophie.
Sophie and Savannah,
right.
Yes. As we know, Savannah won. Rizzo did not win because he could not make fire. And so he didn't have a vote, but he wanted to come in as less of a threat. He didn't want people to think that he was too tight with Savannah. So then he mentioned that he didn't vote for her and implied that he had a vote, which he didn't, and that, it didn't affect her anyway. But this hit Charlie really hard because he got betrayed by his alliance, right?
Yeah.
And so so Rizzo's strategy of distancing himself from his previous player, co-player, had the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Because now, he not only distanced himself, he actually made a new enemy. So not only is he not a threat, he's like, now Charlie has declared Rizzo his mortal enemy.
Yeah. A little dramatic there, but okay. But I think they're setting it up nicely for whatever happens with that. Because they alluded to a little bit last week. This week they get into a little bit more, but not like overplaying it. And I think that's just going to be the pattern until it blows up.
Well, yeah, I agree 100%. The funny part about all of this is that Rizzo has some amount of hubris. Like he's calling him Rizzo God, calling himself Rizzo God.
Riz God.
Riz God, that's what it is. And I'm just like, how much more arrogant can you be and overconfident? In this game, you never know. So as we know, he again calls himself the Riz God because he is given a little gift.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. He ends up with the Billie Eilish idol that Genevieve finds earlier on another island and sends it to him, which unbeknownst to her, because season 49 that Rizzo was on hadn't aired, so she didn't see it. But his major strategy throughout the whole season was he got like one of the first idols in that season. And everybody found out about it. So he just like, oh, maybe I'll play my idol tonight. Who knows? So he hid behind that safety of the idol for the whole season and got to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But Genevieve doesn't know that. But in reality, that's a good play because I think he'll again be arrogant, overconfident, and not play it. And then he could be blindsided with that vote.
Yeah. So her strategy is to send him the idol because she thinks she feels like he is the most likely to get voted out without using the idol and have it boomerang back to her.
Yeah.
So she's targeting him because she thinks he's not an intelligent player, like he's a dumb player, and he's going to misuse it. And that he's the most likely the one to get it back to her. So, I mean, Genevieve gave it to him not because she likes him, but because she thinks he's the most likely to not use it the right way.
Yeah, which I think is going to benefit her.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think one of these Billie Eilish idols has to work, right?
I mean...
I think it's a weird concept, but it's got to work. If they got 3 of them, one of them has to land. So, and out of the 3, I think this is the more likely to do so.
Yeah. Let's talk about how Genevieve got the idol.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Aubrey needs a little bit of time to herself.
Yeah.
She wants to go look for the idol. And everybody wants to go look for the idol. I don't see, like, why would you not want to go look for the idol? So they're all hanging out talking, and then all of a sudden they notice that she is not around.
Aubrey?
Yeah, where's Aubrey? So Genevieve goes looking for her, and I have to say, I'm not a big fan of Aubrey, but she, like, hit the nail on the head. Like, she said that Genevieve sounded like, the Ricola.
Yeah, like on the Ricola commercial. Ricola.
Yeah, just calling her name as if, and Genevieve was almost treating her like a little child, like getting in trouble for having gone outside,
Yeah.
And first of all, I don't understand this secrecy. Everybody wants to find the idol. Everybody's going to be looking for the idol. And also, why can they not have any personal time to themselves to go look for the idol? Yeah. So she goes, Genevieve finds her. Well, Aubrey comes out and then she downplays it. But I don't understand why they don't just say, yeah, I was out looking for the idol. You want to look with me?
Yeah.
So Aubrey doesn't find the idol and then Genevieve finds it.
Yeah.
So she goes looking for Aubrey and she finds an idol instead. The second idol that she has found.
Yeah. Just fell right into place for her.
Sure did.
So
it sure did.
That was interesting to watch. And I think she's a little bit smarter this time. She said she's keeping it close to her vest. She's not telling her tribe that she found it like she did last time. And I think she's going to keep it quiet. And then it's going to be her secret. And she had more time, since this was her second go around, she had more time to be like, okay, who really would not use this in the way that benefit me the most?
Yeah.
So I think having a second time benefited her for sure. So
yeah. Yeah, it's no secret. I'm not a big fan of Genevieve. Justin, you really like Genevieve.
Yeah.
Tell me your take on this.
Yeah, she was a big player in her season. She made it pretty far, and I was rooting for her. I felt that she's pretty smart as far as like strategizing, and she's got some physical ability as well. So I think I just liked her gameplay overall. So I think that's going to come out again this season because she's made some good alliances. Before they did the tribe swap, she was in a good position. And now she's on a good team as well that's not getting sent to tribal, so she can make stronger alliances here. And so I think she's got a good chance.
She has better prospects here too.
Yeah.
But, I didn't really like her attitude in this interaction with Aubrey. I thought it was very condescending and, why can't Aubrey go out and look for the idol?
Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting because on the betting sites or whatever, Aubrey is picked to be the most likely winner at like 89%. I forget what they call those sites where they're not like sports betting, but they're just like pop culture betting sites or political, betting sites and things where they take the odds and then you can place a bet on them. So, but yeah, she's picked to win
If that's so, it's because all of the most likable characters are going to be targeted early on.
Yeah.
And that is, so she's going to fly under the radar for a bit and then maybe come out a winner. We've had quite a few surprises already this season, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Do you think it's gross that Genevieve's braiding coach's dirty hair? Or is that fine for you?
Oh yeah, that's really gross. Yeah.
Gross, or at least very least weird.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't touch any part of Coach, much less his hair. But it's they're in a very intimate situation in Survivor, which I have not experienced, and they're all probably used to doing things that they would not normally do because they don't have access to hygiene, right?
Yeah, there's hardly any privacy.
So she probably wouldn't do that at home, but she is a very strategic player, and any way you can make connections with people,
true,
you do it. So, but I wouldn't touch Coach with a 2-foot pole.
Yeah. So Kalo and Sela are living the high life. They're doing good. Everything's fun. They're all happy. Vatu's miserable.
Yeah, and then they go to the big...
Yeah, they go to the challenge. And find out it's an immunity and reward challenge. Oof. And so everybody's excited to learn that. But like we alluded to in the beginning, Jeff dubs this the biggest Survivor challenge in the history of Survivor. And he starts to give some clues, drop some hints as to who it is. It's a performing artist. It's a country music artist, one of the biggest ones. And Dee figures out who it is beforehand and starts to get super excited. And then it's revealed that it's Zac Brown.
Oh, there is no exaggeration. This absolutely is the very best reward challenge ever. I think this is phenomenal. I love Zac Brown. I'm a big country music fan as well. And, this is exactly the kind of island music that, is just... easy to relax. They're in such a tense situation, and so to bring in a nice, relaxed, fun afternoon, this is perfect. And I love the idea that Zac Brown wanted to be a part of this show. He came up with this idea. He approached Survivor and said, "Can I do this?" Yeah. And he planned it all out. And what a great reward.
Yeah. So you and Dee are aligned on this one.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You'd be super excited.
Anytime there's a celebrity that joins, I think that is an element of extra reward, Yeah. We all get a bit starstruck. And even though Survivor participants are have some celebrity of their own, I think it's the scale of Zac Brown's success is just another level, right? And so I think this is phenomenal. Yeah. I love it so much.
Yeah, it was good. One of the criticisms was there was too much Zac Brown. He got more confessionals in this episode than people that are actually on Survivor on a weekly basis.
We watched the episode several times. It was not exaggerated. It was a great reward. I thought they did exactly the right amount of showcasing his talent and his... he not only played for them, he brought home dinner. You know what I mean? Yeah. He didn't pay for dinner. He brought home dinner.
He went out and caught dinner and brought it home.
Yeah. So that is, I did not think it was excessive. Anytime there's a celebrity, and we've had some celebrities come on before, they should have a little bit. They should have a few scenes about it. I didn't think they had any more than. I didn't think it was excessive.
Yeah, and I think it only ended up being a couple minutes at most, and so it's why not? They showed him fishing, which pretty cool visuals. He's swimming with the sharks.
He's talented in more ways than one.
Yeah, so it was good.
Yeah,
I didn't mind it at all.
I thought this was the best reward ever, and I did. Poor Dee, she's a big fan of Zac Brown, and she did not get to enjoy the afternoon. And, she called it, this is just an experience they didn't get to have. So, but they did not go to tribal council, and that is always something to celebrate.
Yeah. So in this challenge, the three teams had to jump in the water, swim to another platform, take the bucket down, swim to the boat, empty the boat, push the boat on the sand, build a puzzle, right? It's a pretty typical challenge for Survivor. Pretty exhausting. Vatu, because they're down strength, didn't even finish. They were just defeated physically and mentally.
I think this is the scene that proves that Q was not the right person to vote out. So they needed a strong player. They voted out Q, and this challenge was tough, even for Jonathan. Mm-hmm. They were all exhausted.
Yeah.
Vatu needed their strength, and they didn't have it, and it was terrible. They failed miserably. They were already down. So this is a thing. Several of them have already been to tribal council several times. So mentally, they're already down. With that in mind, they should not have voted out strength. Now, that wasn't Ozzy's fault. Ozzy did want to keep Q in longer, but everybody else wanted Q. And so maybe that was a fail on his part. It was really a fail on... So my fail of the day, this is exactly my fail of the day. Vatu just lost it.
Yeah.
Now my win of the day was surely
Kalo.
Yeah, Kalo taking that, just giving it everything they had, and winning it, and that was sure a special treat that they won, and did give them mentally just so much more power in the game. So definitely the play of the day.
Yeah. I can agree with that. So Kalo wins the reward and the immunity. Sela just wins immunity, and they go back and they're glad they're not going to the tribal, but they're deflated they didn't get to see Zac Brown. What was the impact of having that moment with Zac Brown on Kalo? They get obviously the food, the nutrition, the nutrients, the proteins, but they also get to just relax and enjoy the moment. So motivated with Zac Brown and each other. How big is that, do you think?
This is huge. Again, we're talking about Zac Brown. Even if you don't like country music, Zac Brown is a big star, and the celebrity, just the energy that gives you is a lot of really, really good energy. And energy is what you need in Survivor.
Yeah.
So they did get a lot of protein. They had as much protein as they wanted, right?
Yeah. Sounded like that fish was amazing.
Yeah. He had lots of good carbs to go with it. Yeah. And so that's like physical energy that they will give them an advantage, but also just being around a celebrity and someone who has such good vibes, plays great music, just like chill, relax music, really a great island feel. I think this is gonna just help them so much.
Yeah.
This was absolutely the reward to win.
Yeah, and Coach was a little too prideful in winning that in front of Dee, and they showed her reaction to that. So I think that's going to come up at some point too.
Not only was that prideful in that moment, but if you noticed, he was one of the last ones to swim to get to the
bucket.
The bucket, so he's like all confident about having won, and yet, he wasn't one of the fast swimmers, so he didn't really help his team all that much. Mm-hmm. So his confidence was a little bit misplaced.
Yeah. Typical Coach.
Yeah.
But, So that's how that went down. I think it was fun to watch. It was good challenge, good reward, and all that. So Rizzo gets his idol. He's excited. He gets that dialogue where he's one of the... Did he say he was one of the best players, most strategic players in the game?
Yeah, he did.
Very, like you said, overconfident.
Yeah.
In this field of, Survivor history, he thinks he's one of the best. But so there's that, and then they move into after the losing the challenge and how Sela has to,
Vatu.
How Vatu has to deal with the fallout, and then we get into the strategy piece of. And this one was so just chaotic. It was schizophrenic, right?
They had all agreed that it was going to be Angelina. Yeah. Everybody was aligned. Q was going to go out, and the next would be Angelina. Done.
Yeah. And they even started that a little bit.
Yeah. So that's how it started.
Yeah. And then it's just this and that, and Emily's switching sides and telling everybody all about it, and goes to Christian and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I told him," and he gets mad. And enough with Emily. I'm done with Emily.
Well, Emily has already betrayed Christian's confidence and pretended to do it innocently, but she knew exactly what she was doing. So then Mike, bless his heart, really goes to bat for Angelina. He wants to keep his David and Goliath alliance sound for a little bit longer, and he works a little bit too hard to try and keep Angelina. And so what that does is it turns Christian against him.
Yeah.
So Christian, so Mike talks to Christian, and he's like, "Hey, Emily is gonna betray you."
Yeah, just like Gabby did. And
just like Gabby. What a wound.
Yeah.
What a wound.
Yeah, he didn't like that. Christian didn't like that.
No, he started crying about it.
Yeah.
He started crying, and he was saying, "I haven't cried about this in 7 years, you know." So Mike does
Knife to the heart. That's where the title comes from.
Knife to the heart. And what's ironic is that Mike is pointing out that someone else is giving him the knife to the heart, and Christian puts all of his emotion and blame into Mike. Yeah. Mike becomes his new target.
Yeah.
So instead of looking at the truth, which is that Emily is not trustworthy to keep his strategy confidential, she's already proven it. Mike tells him that, which is the truth, and Christian turns his emotion directly towards Mike instead of Emily, so it backfires on Mike. And then Christian ends up coming up with this plan to go after Mike, and that is his demise.
Yeah. Yeah, he got told the truth, didn't like it, and I don't know. I think it could have gone a different way.
Listen, but Mike is a powerful player. He's so likable, and he is an incredible strategist. So he is a player to remove from the game. But Emily has betrayed Christian already once, and then as soon as Christian tells Emily the new plan, which is to vote for Mike, she blurts it out again against his will.
Yeah.
Again. So how many times is he going to trust her with his strategy, and she just to have her play her own game?
Yeah. Yeah. Christian said that Mike's the most dangerous player on all the islands. So why would you hook up your train to Emily, who's just all over the place, and not ride with Mike until it gets to the point where maybe you make the final 3, final 4, you know? Yeah. I think that's, I don't know. He was too emotional in this. Christian was in this.
Well, I don't think it's a bad idea to get rid of Mike because he is so likable. He's my favorite player, and I really wanted him to win. But Emily has already betrayed you several times. She is not playing with you.
Yeah.
She is using you.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. And I think Mike recognized that at the beginning because he started talking to Emily. Yeah. Some of his confessionals were like, she's dangerous.
Yeah.
You got to do something with her. So that's why he switched over to Emily to get rid of her. And he's a smart guy. He knew what was going on.
Yeah. So. Well, one thing is for sure, Christian cannot bet on Emily to help him.
Yeah. If he does it again next episode, he's in big trouble.
He's in big trouble.
Yeah. So, and one thing of note, that Ozzy was kept out of this decision. Yeah. They decided not to tell him. And I think Mike, he should have brought him into his plan to get rid of Emily, because that would have helped him.
Yeah.
But
yep.
So they go to tribal. I didn't really follow. Like, I understood what they were saying, but all these questions didn't really seem to add up to me. Like, I felt it was very disjointed and just all over the place. And maybe it was on purpose because I didn't know what was going to happen when the vote happened. So were you following it as Jeff was asking them the questions and they were responding?
Yeah, I feel like Jeff wanted Emily to come out and say that she had turned on the plan, which is exactly what she did. Mm-hmm. And I thought she gave several clues to say that's exactly what she was doing when she was saying that she just wasn't getting good vibes
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. So she was describing these discussions where, you know, she was surprised that Mike White had brought her name up to vote out. And so that's what she was referring to, in my opinion. And so Jeff was trying to, you know, probe for some of this discussion.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what we saw happen. In the end, she did know that she had the numbers to vote Mike out. And so she, in my opinion, was a bit smug because she knew she had won.
Okay. All right. So do you feel like the vote reveal was a blindside, or did it kind of play out how...
It played out exactly how Christian and Emily planned.
Right. Was it a blindside for you, like for you, where you're like, oh...
I was not. I totally expected that to happen. I knew Mike was going to be voted out. So I didn't see it as a blindside. It was exactly the plan that we saw them create.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that was a good move, bad move, or just a safe move for them?
So I think it was a great move for Emily. I think it was a terrible move for Christian. And I was so sad.
Bad move for us.
Yeah, I just really liked watching Mike in the game, and I think he's so fun. So I was very sad. Now, clearly Mike doesn't have brute strength, although he's got a six-pack, so maybe he has more strength than even some of the... Certainly more strength than Angelina, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot less strength than Q. But... Again, I don't think for the benefit of the tribe, this vote was a very bad move. I think absolutely Emily would have been the better player to vote out this time. She doesn't contribute to... She's not a great contributor to the challenges, and she betrayed Christian already several times. She is a very strategic player, and I think they should have voted her out. And I think that probably Mike... should have been a target at some point, but not yet. They need strength.
Yeah, too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a safe move for Stephanie. She's just going along with the plan. Whatever, I'll do whatever you want to do.
Whatever she can do to keep her name off because she knows she doesn't have a good alliance.
Yeah. Emily and Christian are really driving this. And Ozzy I think he can drive something, but he felt that he was aligned with the plan. For some reason, he didn't. Maybe because he was spearfishing the whole time.
I mean, 8 fish.
Yeah, so he was off doing his thing, so he wasn't seeing all this conversation. So maybe that's why he didn't really get brought into all these different plans and stuff. So, but yeah, I think Christian. Is this foreshadowing for having the same thing happen with Gabby in his original season? Is going to replay itself here with.
Without a doubt, Emily's going to turn on him.
Yeah. So I guess the question is it foreshadowing for repeat behavior, or is it foreshadowing for Christian to be like, hey, Mike was right. I need to cut her. I need to cut ties with her.
I sure hope he gets smart about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
he's such an emotional player, though.
Yeah. He's more emotional than I thought he'd be, because he's all like smart and cerebral and logical and building fire with his glasses. But yeah, he's very emotional in these decisions.
Yeah. In fact, I think he voted out Mike, because of emotion.
Yeah.
It was all emotion.
He didn't like what he told him.
Yeah.
How Mike was brutally honest with him. He's like, well, I don't like that. So he's got to go.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I think it definitely changes the dynamics of the tribe again.
Yep. They're
weaker. Obviously, I think they showed a clip of next week's episode, and Ozzy's mad. He's like, what? This wasn't the plan, guys. So he's, I think, going to fracture, and I think we're going to see a half over here with Ozzy, the other half Christian, and we'll see if they don't merge or anything, what's going to happen. But I bet they're going to tribal again next week.
Yeah. The only reason they won't go to tribal is if one of the other teams loses it on their own. Like if they have some sort of big blunder for some other reason.
Yeah.
But if it's another strength-based challenge, they'll lose because they're not connected mentally. They don't have physical strength. I mean, they are getting some protein because Ozzy keeps fishing, which is good, but it's not like protein and like fish, plantains, rice, and beans. You know what I mean? It's some fish. So They're just mentally not there.
Yeah. All right. So who would you say the big winner of the night, as far as this tribal council goes? Who's the big winner for that team?
Nobody. There is no winner because Christian. I guess Emily.
Okay.
Emily got what she wanted.
True. So short-term Emily.
Short-term Emily. Christian is as big a loser as Mike White because he's Emily's going to screw him over.
Yeah. For me, it was Christian because he got what he wanted, but again, short-term. Mm-hmm. Big loser of the night, I would say Ozzy because he was left out.
Yeah.
They just kind of for tonight, for this tribal night.
Yep.
Now he's angry.
Yep.
Who's in the most interesting position moving forward on this tribe?
On this tribe?
Yeah. Someone in the middle who could go either way or do something unexpected.
I would have a hard time saying anyone's in a good place on this tribe.
Yeah. I think Stephanie is because she's been neutral. And now if she wants to make a move, she can because she doesn't have any bad blood with someone. So I think if she's in I think they're all in a losing position, but as far as some semblance of interestingness, I think Stephanie.
I mean, maybe she just doesn't have enough. I think people could take her or leave her, and that is not the place you want to be in Survivor.
Yeah,
she doesn't have a single alliance. She doesn't have a single person who would go to bat for her. And that's so she's got to be praying for another
merge or swap.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think they're going to make it to tribal again, unless something like that. But,
yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think the highlight of the episode, Zac Brown, the challenge that led up to Zac Brown, and how they were able to spend some time with him. What about play of the episode? Kalo winning the challenge for me after they were even behind.
Sila was going to take it.
Yeah, and they were able to pull it out last second, so that was pretty awesome.
Definitely play of the day.
Yeah. Biggest fail of the whole episode, Emily, for me, just
Christian.
Chaos for me and just flipping over left and right and lying, or not lying, but deceiving, I guess.
I would say it's Christian because he's the one that fell for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we want to thank you guys for joining us, listening in on and watching this podcast episode 4 on Knife to the Heart. We will be back for next week's episode 5. It sounds like they might be focusing a little bit on the Charlie Rizzo drama. We had
I hope so.
The closing, the previews of the next episode. The closing shot was Rizzo giving Charlie the evil eye.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of Vatu. We spent so much time with them because they keep losing, so they got to focus on. I get it, but come on, there's 2 other tribes that are really interesting, fun characters, fun cast of characters that we haven't even really got into, maybe a couple minutes each episode. So I want to see what's going on over there. I don't want them to lose necessarily, but I want to spend more time over there with Kalo and Sila.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. For you guys listening, watching, what was your favorite moment? What's your biggest fail of the episode? What do you think about the Zac Brown stuff? A lot of people have big opinions. It's the worst thing ever or the best thing ever. It doesn't seem to be in the middle anywhere. So what's your take on that? What's your take on this Vatu tribe just losing and losing? And so let us know in the comments. Like the video, comment on the video, share the video, follow the channels, all that stuff. So thanks, guys, for watching, and we will catch you next time.
Thanks, everyone.